What happened to Antonio Brown? Is this the last strike for him?
He is no longer a buck. All right, that's the end of the story. Let's talk about the guys that went out there and won the game.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
All sports.
I said, let me see it.
Look up Adam Schefter.
The Raiders free!
Bro.
Oh, let's go!
Oh, fucking nigga.
Oh! The freedom bell ring got me flying like a free! Fly like an eagle!
Antonio Tavares Brown Sr., born July 10th, 1988. Free at last. Today's feature is a guy that lacks the need for introduction with all the drama that followed him since 2018 and hasn't seemed to stop presently or is going to anytime soon. Nor does it seem he wants the attention to go elsewhere. He stormed off the field in Week 17 this season versus the Jets, apparently after being benched by Bruce Arians for not wanting to re-enter the game, and now it looks like this time it could be over for Antonio Brown in the NFL. In sports, which is entertainment, a certain amount of drama is necessary, and in football, skilled positions like quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers have always dominated the headlines for their dramatic ways of entertaining, especially the latter. This isn't the first time we've seen a quote-unquote meltdown from a wide receiver, and most certainly won't be the last. Receivers are essentially built to be the divas, if you want to call them that they are. Of all the positions, receiver to the eyes is the most fascinating outside the quarterback in the highlight catches they make, the creative and precise route running similar to a crossover in basketball they do, the speed, the swagger, and of course the celebrations. They're out there not only to catch balls, run routes, and score touchdowns, but to look graceful, flashy, and entertaining doing it. You don't become good at that unless inside you're truly that person, or over time you've developed extreme amounts of confidence in yourself to do it. More so, become elite and one of the best in the world at it. But that extreme confidence can cause a player to lose sight of the team concept and also throw tantrums when they feel they can't do their job and aren't getting the attention they need to feed their confidence. In professional football, though, it's different because a lot of other factors become involved, like the most important, money. Creating a certain amount of attention paid to you in the games by how much you're targeted means a bigger payday. A bigger payday leads to more bigger endorsements, leading to more popularity, leading to even more money, and an extension on how long they talk about you when you're gone. Antonio Brown is not only an elite skill player with extreme confidence, he's also an elite entertainer whether you like him or not, and has been paid like one, so much so over his career that I'm not shocked he acts like this when things don't go his way. But as a football and sports fan in general, you see a talent like this and can't help but wonder how good he could have been had he added a few things self-control wise and a better focus on legacy, especially in this stage of his career, being 33 years old, when the prime of a wide receiver declines severely after 27. He's no question an all-time great wide receiver with Hall of Fame talent, but may have now placed himself in position to never see that podium like his talent and accomplishments suggest he easily could have. Here's what ultimately stunted Antonio Brown's growth. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Antonio Brown is a 5'10" wide receiver from Liberty City, Miami that has always been the most talented on his teams throughout his youth and highly recruited out of Miami Norland High School. He enrolled at a prep school after his senior year and played quarterback, one of his many talented positions that included running back and punt returner. He threw for over 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, 13 rushing touchdowns in just 5 games. Stunt number 1, extreme immaturity. If you take a look at a list of the signs of immaturity, you will notice when it comes to Antonio Brown, he fits every single one of them, hence the extreme. My last feature, Cam Newton, was similar, but you still felt Cam had a better sense of how he wanted to be perceived and tried to curtail some points on this list. AB, as he's known, wears them all like diamond chains at the grown age of 33. But immaturity, which breeds irresponsibility, has always been what held AB back in football. Because he wasn't mature enough or responsible enough to take care of his academic obligations by the time high school was over, he missed on a chance to attend home state school of his dreams, Florida State, because academically he didn't qualify. It's eventually why he had to go to a prep school for a year. After doing enough to fulfill his responsibility as a student, AB received a scholarship to Florida International, another home choice of his that he actually attended, and what does he do? Get expelled before the season even began for an altercation with security. Because of his behavior, AB began his college career on the field at Central Michigan, vastly different from Florida as a walk-on. He seamlessly made the switch from quarterback to wide receiver, and after a few weeks was offered a scholarship. Immaturity showed in college as well, being late for meetings and practices until extreme coddling was done by his coach, who essentially opened his home to make Brown a part of his family just to keep an eye on him. It worked, and he became the MAC Freshman of the Year. He went on to have a great college career, 41 touchdowns, over 3,000 yards receiving, and 22 rushing touchdowns. The immaturity settled like it always seems to do for then right after he accomplishes his goals, whether it be getting paid or just making the NFL, an immature outburst happens. He was taken in the 6th round by the Steelers, 22nd out of 27 wide receivers taken that year, passed on by all 32 NFL teams, even Pittsburgh, who selected Emmanuel Sanders 113 picks earlier. Brown went on to overcome that with his skill, but over his time in Pittsburgh, one immature moment led to another that led to the infamous Facebook Live recording of his team, some undressed, and coach saying certain things he'd have to explain later. While the coach laid out specific rules, AB postured for the camera away from his team. It went viral and led to AB's time in Pittsburgh to come to an end, along with feuds with Ben Roethlisberger, skipping practices, being late for meetings, and requesting a trade. This entire video could be about AB's immature actions because things didn't stop there. Along came the free at last social media antics, in my early 20s style rap songs, and live streaming personal feuds that didn't create the most mature image of AB. Stunt number 2, coddled and made excuses for. The worst thing you could do to a child is not prepare them for the realities of the world. When you coddle them and hold their hand, even when they've done wrong, you miss a valuable teaching lesson and development point for the child. AB, who's sometimes childlike in actions, is so talented and has been so good over his career that everyone that's invested in making money off his talent always holds his hand through moments of immaturity and team misrepresentation. In short, they make excuses for his behavior, and I think that has made him even more disruptive because every time he receives a little more attention than he did last time, and we all know Antonio Brown loves attention. So he goes on violating team rules, teammates, coaches, and even embarrasses himself to little or no real disciplinary actions against him. He goes to Oakland and becomes the highest paid receiver in the league in another coddle for Brown. And what does he do? Everything he could not to play for the 4-win team the previous year. Blistered his feet seemingly on purpose in an immature attempt not to participate in training camp. Filed a grievance to continue wearing a band helmet and threw a tantrum when they ruled against him, and wouldn't practice without still attempting to make his case to wear his old helmet. He'd miss practice, meetings, call coaches racist names, and simply apologize emotionally and be taken back like it never happened because of his talent. He demanded a release from the team, and it was granted September 7th. For the immature and team detrimental things he did, he was sure to be out of the league. But another team would just scoop him up like always, pay him insane amounts of money, and try their hand at coddling him in order to get his full potential. That sort of disservice only hurts the team, an image put forth to the youth to come, and soon there'll be another AB. Stunt number 3, legacy threats. Antonio Brown has done everything to hurt his legacy during his career, and it's taken him from surefire Hall of Famer to I guarantee you when he's not of service to a football team anymore, those same coddlers will come out the woodworks to throw dirt on his name, and deservedly so. He's made too many mistakes for a grown professional and burned too many bridges to be welcomed into one of the most prestigious boys' club, the Hall of Fame. Most recently, he stormed off the field during the third quarter, week 17 versus the Jets in embarrassing fashion, as head coach told media later Antonio Brown is no longer a Buck. At 33 years old and the turbulent career he's had in the league, I don't see his legacy being pinned any other way than disappointing. And sadly, it's been all self-inflicted. He could have done even more great things in Pittsburgh, could have been a great story in Oakland, even greater one in New England, and the greatest of stories in Tampa, winning a Super Bowl championship and turning his career around. He could have even won back-to-back chips this year and cash in on bonuses he was right on the cusp of receiving, and he just quit on himself in the long run. All in all, this was not a story to document every single great or not so great thing AB has done in his career, but because it's important to have these representations of what not to do for an athlete to take note and understand that this is not the way. Yes, he still got paid, and yes, he's famous, and yes, he's good, but what will he be remembered as? An immature a-hole probably that didn't fulfill his potential with the opportunity many wish they had? Truly, that's sad. Salute to AB though, much respect, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth, and I'm out.
He is no longer a Buck.